Make a habit of empathy, to recognize ourselves in each other.
Going down the rapids on the same raft is something that comes to mind. That another person's experience is taking the form it's taking because of being in certain circumstances. So sharing a circumstance, being on the raft together.
And the opposite of empathy, what would that be?
Indifference.
Indifference.
Yes.
And the metaphor for indifference, what would that be like?
There's no one here except me. It's all me. In lack of empathy, the other has been disappeared. When we are self-centric or narcissistic, the other has disappeared. So you might say that's zero empathy. It's all up from there. To what extent am I present with the other, and I'm present to all the differences between me and the other person. So when there's empathy, we can recognize the differences between oneself and the other, and one can engage those differences. When there isn't empathy, or when there's less empathy, then we disappear the differences, or trivialize the differences, or even suppress them through relationships which consist of manipulation and domination. That's suppressing the difference.
And the metaphor, I didn't quite get the metaphor. I heard disappearing. It's like a disappearing person is the metaphor, or?
Yes, it's all been turned into me. The world and others are all turned into me. It's all me. It's a very lonely place to move through life in that way, when it's all me, because one becomes preoccupied with oneself, and the splendor of existence is not present, just anxious self-preservation.
So sometimes I like to play around with the metaphors, talking to each other. So you have the metaphor, it's all me, which is, what does that look like? I see the raft going down, right? There's this image of a raft. I don't have quite an image of an all me. Is there like a, you know what I mean?
It's a good question. Somebody whose boundary, obviously not literally, but whose psychic boundary merges and encompasses the other person, but not in a way that the distinctness is preserved. It's if you think of a tapestry, right? What makes a tapestry beautiful is preserving the distinctions and the relationship between this color and this shape, etc. But in a stew, or even just I'm trying to think of some other kind of soup where it's all become one soup. You might say a salad is kind of in between the soup, where all the vegetables have been so ground up there's no distinctness.
So it's kind of like a mush, kind of a mushed.
A mush on one end, then the salad, and then the tapestry, in terms of preserving difference. And empathy is key to preserving difference. That's one also, the difference between sympathy and empathy. In sympathy, we're feeling with the other person, and merging, our feelings become merged with them. In empathy, there is a clearer distinction, and that clearer distinction enables us to offer our care in more effective ways, in more precise ways. Not that sympathy isn't important, and caring, of course, arises through sympathy as well.
So sometimes kind of playing with the dialogue, we have this soup, this mush soup, and we have either the tapestry or the raft. I mean, either one of those seem to be kind of a metaphor for empathy. Which one do you like the best? The rafting metaphor? Or?
Well, the raft is the experience of empathy,
Okay.
which is it's not necessarily comfortable. I mean,
Okay.
if I'm going to open myself to be affected by you and be empathic, then that could be disturbing to me, depending on what you're going through. The tapestry metaphor is holding the outcome, is that if I can be empathic with you and you can be empathic with me, then there's a kind of collaboration that will, through co-creation, bring something about. Let's say we're working together, leading something together, then our mutual empathy for each other raises the quality of collaboration.
Okay, so if we have the mush and the raft, and if they have like a conversation, what would they say to each other? Can you take the conversation back and forth a few steps?
Well, the mush says, I'm comfortable right here. You know, this is what it is. You can stir me, but not change me. The tapestry, you might say, has more mystery in it. You know, you look at one part of me, you'll see this. You look at another part of me, you'll see this. Early in the day, when the light is this way, I will appear in one form. Late in the day, when the light has shifted, I'll appear in another form. So the image or metaphor of tapestry can retain a much more fluidity, much more mystery, much more discovery, mutual inquiry, all the things that require more than one person, and more than one person being with uncertainty, with unknowing.